In today's video, we will be looking at the RTX 3050 versus the RX 6600. So the graphics cards in question are the RTX 3050, which is the Ventus version from MSI, against the RX 6600 from AMD, which is the MSI Mech edition. So I'm going to have side-by-side sort of split screen so you can actually see one card against the other to see how they perform at 1080p high and 1080p ultra in 8 popular video games. So jumping into our first game, Fortnite, the RTX 3050 at 1080p high was an average of 96, a minimum of 36 and a maximum of 135. On the RX 6600, an average of 135, a minimum of 53 and a maximum of 192. So 1080p Ultra on the RTX 3050 was an average of 74, a minimum of 43 and a maximum of 94. On the RX 6600 was an average of 82, a minimum of 55 and a maximum of 100. Halo Infinite now, 1080p high on the RTX 3050 was an average of 109, a minimum of 84 and a maximum of 148. And on the RX 6600 was an average of 110, a minimum of 83 and a maximum of 161. At 1080p Ultra, the RTX 3050 did an average of 101, a minimum of 87 and a maximum of 122. And the RX 6600 did an average of 106, a minimum of 85 and a maximum of 157. And Red Dead Redemption 2 now. 1080p high, the RTX 3050 did an average of 60, a minimum of 22 and a maximum of 87. And the RX 6600 did an average of 74, a minimum of 57 and a maximum of 76. And at 1080p Ultra now, RTX 3050, an average of 50, a minimum of 17 and a maximum of 83. The RX 6600 did an average of 57, a minimum of 19 and a maximum of 76. Shadow of the Tomb Raider now, 1080p high, the RTX 3050 did an average of 95 and a minimum of 73 and a maximum of 152. And the RX 6600 did an average of 124, a minimum of 99 and a maximum of 195. 1080p Ultra now, the RTX 3050 did an average of 85, a minimum of 64 and a maximum of 140. And the RX 6600 did an average of 105, a minimum of 80 and a maximum of 166. And Watch Dogs Legion now, 1080p high, the RTX 3050 did an average of 77, a minimum of 43 and a maximum of 106. And the RX 6600 did an average of 93, a minimum of 58 and a maximum of 144. And 1080p Ultra now, the RTX 3050 did an average of 46, a minimum of 18 and a maximum of 70. And the RX 6600 did an average of 60, a minimum of 41 and a maximum of 93. Moving on to Far Cry 6 now, the RTX 3050 at 1080p high did an average of 85, a minimum of 77 and a maximum of 101. And the RX 6600 did an average of 117, a minimum of 98 and a maximum of 130. 1080p Ultra now, the RTX 3050 did an average of 74, a minimum of 65 and a maximum of 92. And the RX 6600 did an average of 100, a minimum of 74 and a maximum of 132. And GTA 5 now, 1080p high, the RTX 3050 did an average of 112, a minimum of 81 and a maximum of 146. And the RX 6600 did an average of 84, a minimum of 49 and a maximum of 141. 1080p Ultra results at RTX 3050 was an average of 82, a minimum of 48 and a maximum of 102. And the RX 6600 did an average of 74, a minimum of 44 and a maximum of 123. And our last game today, Cyberpunk 2077, the RTX 3050 at 1080p high did an average of 86, a minimum of 56 and a maximum of 115. And the RX 6600 6600 did an average of 102, a minimum of 39 and a maximum of 161. And at 1080p Ultra now, the RTX 3050 did an average of 82, a minimum of 29 and a maximum of 127. The RX 6600 did an average of 102, a minimum of 56 and a maximum of 153. So as we can see here, overall the RX 6600 is beating the RTX 3050 quite comfortably. It was only GTA 5 which was a little bit of an odd result, which kind of the RTX 3050 kind of came back a little bit, but I think that could have been just down to the settings itself. Maybe I didn't quite set the settings to exactly the same, but overall I'd say yeah, the RX 6600 is far superior. You're probably looking at least 20 to 30% more performance. So obviously if the graphics cards are in your region are around about the same price, then the RX 6600 is the clear winner here by obviously quite some way. So I hope you like this little roundup of these two graphics cards. So these are kind of two competing graphics cards I'd say on the market currently, from obviously Nvidia and obviously one from AMD. So if you did like the video, please drop us a like. Obviously please comment if you want to see any other games maybe tested, or if you've got any other comments you want me to know, obviously just drop them below. And remember to subscribe as well, which will obviously help the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.